Moin Moin! Today we are reviewing the ID87 crystal from Idobao. A brass plate isn't always my first option. I prefer flexible plates like the polycarbonate or maybe FR4, and I love the deeper sound. This got a higher pitch sound with the brass plate, so I opted out for some alpaca switches and Franken switched the more satisfying keys like the spacebar and the enter key with a black cherry pie switch. So I got the alpaca bottom, the cherry top housing and a Duroc pom stem instead of the NK cream stem. I spring swapped all of my switches. The alpacas got the 67 gram 40mm spring and the Franken switches got the long spring, 78 grams on the spacebar. The enter key got a 67 grams long spring.
I tried to evenly loop those switches with Krytox 205G0, a little bit on the rail, a little bit on the leaf and a little bit on the button. Then I pick up my stem holder and the stem, grab it by the little cross section. From all four sides I pay especially attention that it isn't overlooped and I get those little feet. The springs are back looped with Krytox 105. It's faster and if I'm honest I don't feel the difference. I put in those switch films to avoid stem wobble and the sound gets a little bit deeper. I have some loop left on the brush and I just paint it on the top housing. In this part I test every switch on consistency, because I always loop in batches of 5 to 8 and they are pretty much the same, but in between batches there can be some difference, so I sort them out.
My only real caveat or complaint of this board are the included stabilizers. They're pretty rattly. I didn't really like them and they're clip-in. So I opted out for the Duroc V2 screw-in stabilizers in the clear version. So the crystal and the clear, it just fits.
For me the most significant mod you can do is wire balancing. It takes a bit of time, but it's absolutely worth it. I'm struggling minutes to half an hour to perfectly balance them, but it was worth the work. Next I heat shrink modded them, because I just love the feel of heat shrink mod. If you heat shrink mod, I would suggest not using dielectric grease because it's a bit too thick for it. So Again, I use Crytox 205G0 for this. Evenly loop those wires even around the corner of the wire.
I additionally put against the clack or the higher pitch sound the KBD foam pads. I don't, do they call them? Here, I will show you. Those one. It feels pretty great. It's like the PE foam mod, but without taking away the whole sound. Really like that.
Before you put your whole build together again, please just try your stabilizers. Most of the time they need some work. I test this here and I got lucky. Before I put the keyboard together again, I connect it with the PC and test every switch. I got 3 bent switches that doesn't work. Luckily, nothing on the PCB. I didn't test the PCB. You should always test your PCB, but I just forgot. So here's a bent pin, and I just use a switch puller because I got nothing other on hand, and it worked.
The gaskets on this board are pretty stiff, but they do their job. You need to really put them in there. So I just tried to lightly tap it in and tried to close the board, but this doesn't really work. There will be a gap of around ½ centimeter, so a ¼ inch, something like that, estimated. The whole build feels really clean and it sounds pretty good. It's obviously higher pitched than my other boards, but maybe I keep this in my collection. Normally I sell this board to afford another one, to show it, or just build it, because I love building them and learning this stuff, and I'm just at the beginning.